When was the last time you stopped and asked yourself a question so honest it made you uncomfortable? Is my life truly mine, or am I living inside a story that was written for me? Most people never dare to ask this, not because they don't feel the tension, but because they're afraid of what the answer might demand. Yet if you're here, listening to these words, something within you has already begun to shift. You didn't arrive at this moment by accident. A quiet force inside you guided you here, long before you consciously realized it. And once you truly hear what's being revealed, there is no returning to who you were before. Maybe lately your life has felt strangely unstable. Things that once felt certain now feel fragile. Plans don't unfold the way you expected. Emotions rise without clear explanation. You might feel overwhelmed, as if everything you carefully built is being questioned at once. But what if this chaos isn't a sign that something is wrong? What if it's the clearest sign that something extraordinary is trying to be born? Before every major transformation, life sends signals, not loud ones, subtle ones, whispers before the storm. And the tragedy is not that life is cruel, but that most people misinterpret these whispers as failure, bad luck, or personal weakness. They resist them. They numb themselves. They turn back just moments before a breakthrough they never even knew was possible. But you didn't turn away, you're here, and that alone tells a story. One of the first signs that a profound shift is approaching is the moment you begin questioning everything you once accepted without hesitation. Your beliefs, your goals, your values, even your definition of success start to feel unstable. You might find yourself asking questions that never mattered to you before. Why am I doing this? Who am I doing it for? Does this life actually reflect who I am, or who I was taught to be? At first, this questioning feels unsettling. It can feel like the ground beneath your identity is crumbling. The mental structures that once gave you certainty begin to collapse. And that discomfort can feel frightening, as if you're losing your way. But what if you're not losing anything at all? What if you're finally seeing clearly? Discomfort is not always a warning. Sometimes it is an initiation. When old beliefs begin to dissolve, it's because they can no longer contain the person you're becoming. Life invites you to re-examine everything you took for granted, not to punish you, but to free you, to strip away the illusions you've been living inside so something more honest can emerge. This is not a crisis, it is an awakening. As this awakening deepens, the world around you may start to feel unfamiliar. Things that once made sense no longer do. Conversations feel empty. Certainties vanish. You may feel disoriented, like you're walking without a map. But this disorientation is not chaos. It is space being created. Space for the real you to surface, unburdened by old roles, expectations, and masks that no longer fit. This phase can feel like a kind of death, the death of the false self, the version of you that was built for survival, approval, or safety rather than truth. And death is never comfortable, but it is necessary for rebirth. Slowly, life begins to strip away what no longer belongs. Not because it's cruel, but because it's precise. What remains after this stripping is raw, honest, and real. And even though it feels like everything is falling apart, something far more powerful is taking shape beneath the surface. You are not broken. You are breaking free. And this inner shift doesn't stop at your thoughts. It spills into every part of your life. Your relationships may start to change. Certain people begin to drift away. Conversations that once felt natural now feel forced. Habits that once comforted you now feel heavy, even suffocating. This isn't coincidence, it's alignment. You are shedding what no longer resonates with your evolving energy. Letting go is difficult because what you're releasing may have once defined you. But those things were never who you were. They were tools for a previous chapter. And chapters are not meant to last forever. On the other side of this release is something rare. A version of you that is more conscious, more resilient, and more aligned with your deepest truth. You may feel it already, a quiet blend of fear and excitement, as if something immense is approaching. That feeling is not imagination, it's intuition. And intuition doesn't shout. It waits for you to listen. As you begin to listen, life responds in unexpected ways. Answers arrive through chance encounters, unexpected words, books that appear at the exact moment you need them. These moments are not random, they are responses to your inner shift. Signs that you are moving in harmony with something larger than your old understanding of reality. You may not have clarity yet, but you have direction, and that is enough. Because questioning is not weakness, it is transformation in motion. And the moment you stop resisting the questions, you begin walking a path that leads somewhere real. This is only the beginning. Have you noticed how the past is starting to loosen its grip on you? How things that once felt essential now feel distant, almost foreign. This is another powerful sign that a new chapter is opening. It doesn't happen suddenly. It arrives quietly. The hobbies, routines, and conversations that once filled you with energy begin to feel hollow. The places that once felt like home no longer carry the same warmth. Even the people you once felt deeply connected to may now feel out of sync with who you are becoming. This detachment can be confusing. You may wonder what's wrong with you, but nothing is wrong. Your soul is gently urging you forward. You are outgrowing a life that once fit you perfectly. Outgrowing is not rejection, it is evolution. As this disconnection deepens, parts of your identity begin to unravel. Roles you once played no longer feel natural. Goals you chased for years suddenly lose their urgency. And while this unraveling can feel like loss, it is actually preparation. Space is being made. You are shedding an old skin. Fear often accompanies this stage. Fear of letting go, fear of the unknown, fear of losing what feels familiar. But alongside that fear comes liberation. There is freedom in no longer needing to be who you used to be. Strength in releasing what no longer supports your growth. That emptiness you feel is not emptiness at all. It is potential. As the noise of the external world fades, a quieter voice rises within you. You begin trusting your intuition more deeply. Decisions become clearer. You no longer overanalyze every step. You feel guided, even when you can't explain why. Life starts to flow differently. Patterns emerge. Events align. What once felt random now feels purposeful. You sense that you are exactly where you need to be, even if the destination is still unclear. This alignment awakens a hunger for growth. You no longer want to simply exist. You want to evolve, to learn, to expand, to become more honest with yourself. You're drawn to knowledge, healing, and experiences that challenge you to step beyond old limitations. You begin confronting old wounds, releasing outdated beliefs, letting go of patterns that kept you small. And while this healing can be uncomfortable, it is deeply empowering. You are reclaiming parts of yourself that were buried beneath fear and expectation. Along the way, you may feel loneliness. Old connections fall away before new ones arrive. But this loneliness is temporary. It is a sacred pause, a space where self-awareness grows, and soon you begin attracting people who resonate with your new way of being. People who support your evolution rather than resist it. You also develop an intense desire to break free from toxic situations. What you once tolerated now feels unbearable. Not out of anger, but clarity. You no longer want to sacrifice your peace for familiarity. Choosing yourself no longer feels selfish, it feels necessary. As you release what no longer serves you, life responds, new connections form, new opportunities appear. Your reality begins reflecting the changes you've made within. Eventually, you reach a point where even deeply rooted attachments lose their hold. Old habits, old fears, old identities. They fall away gently, and what remains is a sense of calm you've never known before, a quiet confidence, a feeling of alignment that doesn't need explanation. This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of a life lived with awareness. If these words resonate with you, trust that it's not by accident. Something within you is awakening. And if you continue listening, if you continue trusting this inner knowing, you are stepping into a chapter defined not by fear, but by clarity, peace, and authenticity. You are not just changing your life, you are expanding your consciousness. And this transformation has only just begun.